All right, and welcome to KQCK. Hope everybody enjoyed the last show here. Jordy in studio doing a fantastic job putting on some fantastic entertainment for all of you folks. And now it is that time for the O Factor. The O Factor with Jessica G.
Yay! And I'm a tough fact to follow after Jordy.
Well, aren't you going to bust out some tunes?
We could do a little bit of a really bad karaoke singing is about all I can offer you.
I'd really like to see that.
I don't know. It's pretty bad. It's restricted to bathroom showers, and that's about it. I'm not allowed
Bathroom
in public.
showers. That's interesting.
My singing is only allowed in the shower. I'm not allowed in public with it. It's pretty bad.
Gotcha.
It's pretty bad.
Just misunderstood.
Yeah. We were out there listening. We didn't want to interrupt because she was doing such an amazing job. She's just a fabulous singer. Got to give it to her. So, but anyway, I'm so excited to be here today. It's the last live show of 2012.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm kind of sad. It's going by kind of quick.
You got 2013 coming along.
I know, and I've already got a great lineup of shows. But today, okay, so let's back up for a second before I jump into my guest real quick. We are the O Factor. We talk about getting things organized, and I had some feedback lately about about some of the shows I'm doing. And one of the things I want to make sure that I point out is that when you're getting organized, it's more than just your filing cabinet or your desk at home or your desk at work. This is like organizing your life. And everybody's getting ready for the holidays, and we're about to go on road trips. We're about to pack up our kids and our vehicles. And so I thought, wait a minute, before we do that, before we put our most precious cargo in our vehicles, we need to make sure that we have that organized, make sure that we have it prepared for these trips, because God knows we've all heard horror stories about vacation travels gone awry. And so I called my really great friend, Jim Shorey with Good Works Auto Repair, and told him, I said, hey, Jim, I need you desperately to come on air and tell us, like, how do we get our cars prepared for these road trips?
And you know what?
No, but you're going to tell me.
I am gonna step outside for a second, but I'm gonna be. Don't get nervous.
Oh my
Here's
God!
the good
He's
part.
Gonna leave me
This
alone
is like
with the equipment.
when you're going for your pilot's license and you're doing a solo. But I'm gonna be right back.
Okay.
I mean, you wouldn't want me
to
to
come back and bring me gifts.
That's what I was gonna go. I was gonna go wrap them.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So I guess I can deal with that.
I'm not gonna tell you when I'm gonna go. But
okay. But before you do, well, no, never mind. I'll wait until you get back.
Then we'll answer the phone calls.
I was about to say, as soon as you get back, you got to give us the phone numbers, because I know we're going to have a lot of people calling in.
Okay.
All right, get ready.
I'm ready.
Take your break now.
I'll take it in a minute.
All right, so with us we have Jim Shorey. Jim, before we go too much further, tell us about who you are, how'd you get started, and where's your business located?
The business is located in East Mesa in the Superstition Springs area. 6056 East Baseline Road. We're right next door to Rockin' R Ranch in East Mesa. I got started in the business about 7 years ago. Shop opened about 5.5 years ago.
Oh, wow.
I was a former Motorolan, like 20-some thousand plus people here in the Valley of the Sun. And Motorola gave me the exciting opportunity to go explore something new and different.
They gave you the opportunity. Well put.
So that time, my wife and I decided we wanted to stay residents here in the Valley of the Sun, and decided.
Why would you want to go anywhere else?
Exactly. This is about as far as east as I prefer to live.
Yeah, amen to that. I'm with you.
So, have a real passion for customer service and auto repair, and what I'm trying to do, what Amber and I are trying to do, really is bring a truthful honesty to it. We're not really interested in making a dollar today per se,
right?
As much as taking care of our customers for a long period of time, because Amber and I are going to be in the business for 20 plus years more than likely, because we've got very young kids, and I'm trying to support the family.
Yeah.
And want to take care of my kids as well. So
it's a family-owned business.
It's
and Amber is, so for those of you, I know who Amber is, but some of our listeners may not know. Who's Amber?
Amber's my wife.
Okay.
Amber's the CFO.
Okay. She handles all the money.
She's the CTO, Chief Technology Officer.
Oh, so she makes sure the printers and the copiers and the computers are all working?
She handles, she's I don't know if there's a CMO, Chief Marketing Officer.
Yes.
She's that.
Why not? We created it right now.
Exactly. She's also responsible for human resources.
Wow. She's busy then.
Yeah.
And so, okay, wait a minute. So if she's CFO, CMO, CTO, mom, wife. What do you do again?
I pretty much work for her.
I got that. I really do right now. I was like, okay, who's the boss?
That'd be Amber.
Because she's also over employee relations. So if if you disagree with her, you could get fired.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's make sure we don't make Amber upset. No, she's a great person. She's got it. She's one of the sweetest people that I've ever met. She's really great. Okay, so you have Amber and you have some small children. And are they listening? Do you think they're listening?
Probably.
Do you want to say hi?
Hi, Dustin, Trevor, and Brooke.
Yay! Okay, good. They'll be all excited. Okay, so it's a family-owned business, which I love. I love those. And one of the other things that I want to make sure I go back and touch on is that you said that you're bringing a different aspect to auto repair, and that was to give it, in my words, I'm paraphrasing what you said, integrity and honesty to it.
That's correct.
How many times have people taken their car? Oh, there was a show. There was a news on one of the news channels about mechanics taking advantage of people, and that is so, unfortunately, so very common. So that absolutely won't happen at your shop.
No, our intentions are generally very pure. Okay, no one on this planet is above making a mistake.
Right.
And I'll be the first one to admit, we're not perfect at Good Works Auto Repair by any stretch of the imagination. We do set a very high standard for ourselves. And if we make a mistake, we own up to it and we take care of it. There's a lot of subjectivity in the auto repair industry as a whole. And so our intentions are to make your vehicle safe and reliable as possible for you within your budget.
Which is different than quick fix. Or what I call them shade tree mechanics, where it's like, here, I need something done and I need it done fast, where they may put cheaper, inexpensive parts, which may get me through the next, couple of months or whatever. But in the long run, it's not safe for my car. It ends up doing more damage to my car.
Correct.
And so not necessarily dollar-wise the best choice, but also not the best choice overall.
Correct. And what we strive for is we use, in the parts industry, the analogy that you've always heard me use is there's multiple places to go buy a hamburger.
Right.
You can go buy a hamburger at certain fast food restaurants for 79 cents. And there's other restaurants where you can go spend $10. Well, if you can buy a hamburger for 79 cents, why on the earth would you spend $10 for a hamburger?
Right.
Well, there's a huge difference in customer service and the quality of the actual hamburger that you're getting.
Right. I want the $10 burger with all the juicy stuff on it.
Exactly. And so in the auto repair industry, there's different grades of auto parts. And what we strive for is we use basically the highest grade part that we can get, because I only want to fix your car once.
Right.
And have your car stay fixed. Because if you're always having to bring your car back for that same problem, the cost to you in the long run is a lot higher, because you're out of your car for a day or two, and depending on what the repair is. Mm-hmm. So if it's always coming back, then you're having to arrange for maybe a rental car.
Right.
You're having to arrange for the kids, potentially take off work. And so that cost actually exceeds the actual original cost of the repair if it was, quote, done right the first time.
Doesn't that, if you're a business person and you think about that, aren't you putting yourself out of business, so to speak, by providing the best parts? I can understand ethically why you would do that, but it just seems like, too, if you're putting the top of the line so people don't have to keep coming back, then they're not coming back to you as often.
Yeah, we have one particular customer that they transport mentally handicapped adults, mm-hmm. and we've pretty much set a high standard for dispatch reliability for them.
Wow.
And I think this December will be, in 2 years, I think we've had one tow in from them.
Wow.
Before we got them, as we initially got them on board with our program, we were getting some tow ins on a fairly regular basis. I would say probably in that 3 to 6 week range, every 3 to 6 weeks, we were getting a vehicle towed in because it broke down. Because of that means that they have to make a lot of accommodations.
Right.
And a lot of these adults are sensitive to temperature.
Right.
So here in Phoenix, in the summer when it's very hot out, they had to get another vehicle out to them very quickly, because it can be medically very dangerous for them to be standing on the side of the road when it's 110, 112 degrees out.
Right.
So we've done a very good job of making sure that their vehicles always get properly taken care of and so they can maintain that high dispatch reliability.
That's pretty awesome, because then from a business person, if you have a fleet, hands down, you want to go to someone like yourself, bring it to Good Works Auto Repair, because it does. I mean, the added cost of having to get another vehicle on short notice, to get another driver available, because then you may not be able to accommodate everybody in that one. If they're delivery trucks, having a delivery truck that can accommodate whatever it is that you're delivering. So it could be, gosh, just the hassle of that alone would be extraordinary.
Yeah, we have another customer that I work with closely. Like I work with him to make sure that he can always meet his end of quarter numbers or end of year numbers. So there's some things where, he'll ask me, say, hey, Jim, I'm trying to make my numbers. Is this something that, we want to do it right, but are there things that we can possibly wait to do from like a maintenance perspective till like the beginning of the next quarter when our new budget starts?
Right.
And I'm like, sure, we can definitely do that. So I can, like on the fleet side, and even with our regular customers, on maintenance, that's something you don't have to do today. It's not like your car broke and we have to get it fixed today so you can drive it. So I always like to develop a plan with all of our customers, to always try and get, like when you come in for an oil change, to do one service.
Right.
I mean, we'd all love it if you came in and did all the service at once, because that's a nice payday for quote unquote for everybody.
Bonus for everybody in the office.
Exactly. So, but I really like getting people scheduled and organized in how they maintain their car, so that when we come in, they say, okay, when you do an oil change, hey, we're gonna service the cooling system on this oil change.
Right.
Next oil change, we're gonna service the power steering fluid. Now, as far as like with your show with the organization, if you're going to quote the right type of shop, they should be tracking for you, the customer, what your car needs and when it needs to happen.
Okay.
And they should be able to put together a plan for you as far as making sure that your car stays reliable as cheaply as possible for you as the customer.
I don't think I've ever seen a plan on my car. I know that I get that little sticker in the window and I check the mileage every so often. It's like, oh, it's time for an oil change, and I take it in. That's about as far as I go. And I guess, and it brings up another thing when you were talking about the difference between, a 79-cent burger and a $10 burger. I know that I have been guilty of it often. It's like, well, why do I want to put those expensive parts in my car? Okay, can I get the middle? Can I get the, the $5 burger and it's still,
In some cases, yes. But there's some things like, for example, you don't want to compromise on.
Like, what are some of those things?
I would say, like, for example, brake pads.
Okay.
You don't really want to compromise. I mean, that is the number one safety feature on your car.
Yeah, you need to stop. And especially in Arizona, where everybody, sometimes in morning traffic, you're trucking along and then somebody slams on the brakes in front of you because they weren't paying attention. And so then it's like the whole line of people behind you are slamming on brakes to prevent the pileup that's inevitably going to happen. But
exactly. And what you have to watch out for, there's, things that I've talked about over the last year or so that I've gotten to know you, is you've got to watch out for what different auto repair companies are doing from a, quote, marketing perspective.
Okay.
And when something sounds too good to be true or is too cheap, it usually is in the auto repair industry.
Well, here's where I get hung up, because I am not, I'm not car savvy at all. I mean, I'm just like, I don't do my homework when it comes to that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So I usually I'm very trusting. And so I was like, well, if you tell me that's what I need, then that's what I need. And so let me make that happen. And so in the past, that has gotten me in a lot of trouble, especially when it comes to vehicles, because then I do get suckered into the too good to be true deals. And then I'm like, but I trusted you to give me the best advice possible. And the next thing you know, I'm having to keep bringing my vehicle in every couple of months to fix something. And it just never seems to end. I swear I've funded a lot of people's college funds, a lot of kids' college funds since I've been old enough to drive, which we're not going to calculate those years. It's going to be our little secret. Okay, so tell us real quick, the whole focus, because we do have people that are loading up their kids into their cars, their loved ones, they're going over to grandparents' houses, wherever they may be going. And so, Joe's phone's going off. That's fun. So if you're calling for Joe right now, he stepped away, and please leave a message at the sound of the beep. What are some of the things that, as you're putting your family in the car, or actually, let's back up. How much in advance do you need to start prepping your car?
The sooner you can get your vehicle into a shop, I always encourage people to develop a long-term relationship with their mechanic.
Okay.
We're effectively like doctors. The second most valuable asset you own is actually your car. It's also the most technologically advanced asset that you own. Your house being the largest asset that you own. So develop a long-term relationship with your mechanic so that the mechanic can get to know your car and make recommendations. So you want to go in and get what a lot of people call in the industry a courtesy check. So if you can go in and have them look over the vehicle.
And what are some of the things they're looking for?
They should be checking the fluids.
Okay.
Checking the belts and hoses. And for people who are more in the northern tier states, that is the number one time period for batteries to go out.
Oh, really?
Here in Arizona, we're the exact opposite.
Yeah, ours go out during the summer.
Exactly. So you want to go ahead and have the battery tested.
Okay.
What happens here a lot in Phoenix, like when we get that first cold snap, I mean, we sell batteries galore that week because they all...
They can't handle the cold.
Exactly. They're used to that 100-degree temperature. All of a sudden it's 40, and it's like, hey,
and 40 is
I'm
cold
giving up
for
the ghost. You're stranded.
I've heard of several people who are like, I don't get it. My battery's dead.
Exactly. And so you definitely want to get the battery checked. And they should also be checking the tread depth of the tires as well.
Okay, so I'm glad you brought that up. I've heard some different ways of doing that. I've heard like if you put a coin in the...
A penny.
Is it a penny? I never knew what coin, so heck, I messed up already. And if the tread needs to be about where?
If you can see Lincoln's head, the tires are too thin. And there's also what are called tread wear indicators that are on the tire itself. It's a little rubber bar that goes across the length of the tire or the width of the tire.
Okay.
If those are right near the edge of the tread depth, you really need to get new tires.
Okay, so if you put a penny in the tread
and you can see
Lincoln's head, then you need new tires, or the indicator that runs from front to back.
The actual width of the tire.
Right. What does that look like again?
It's a rubber bar.
A rubber bar.
Yeah.
Okay. Would it be obvious for someone who is clueless like me?
It's a raised bar.
Oh, well, that's pretty obvious.
Yeah, and it actually technically it measures 230 seconds.
Okay.
And so when the tire gets down to 230 seconds, it needs to be replaced.
Okay.
I get real antsy at 430 seconds. We're getting really kind of technical here.
I have no idea what that means, but there's people out there that do, so go for it.
Especially here in Phoenix, because what happens is the tread is designed to help shed heat.
Okay.
And then also the tread is also designed to help shed water.
Okay.
So once you get in that 430 seconds range, the ability of the tire to shed heat is dramatically reduced versus at 630 seconds or 830 seconds.
So the tires get hotter faster.
Correct,
okay.
Which can lead to a blowout.
Ah.
And then also if you're driving in wet weather, the ability of the tread to actually help get rid of the water to prevent you from hydroplaning.
I'm from Louisiana, so we get lots of water there, and there have been many times that in my younger, less careful days that I have hydroplaned across some pretty scary intersections. So I'm sure I have a guardian angel watching over me over those situations. But I have had that. That's very scary. And I thought that's what the braking system was supposed to. There's braking systems that are designed to help stop that. They're supposed to stutter or something.
Those are traction control systems.
Okay.
There is anti-lock braking systems. The traction controls are also designed to help stabilize the vehicle as well.
To keep you from flipping over.
Exactly.
That's kind of important.
I don't generally consider it a fun experience when I flip a car.
I've never
done it, but
I've never done it either. But I think it's definitely not on my list of things to do before I die. So that's good. All right, so we need to check the tires, and now for those who are listening who are unsavvy like me, now they know what to do about that. Then they also need to check the fluids.
Correct.
And so
another critical thing, especially if you're going to be in a climate where you're going to have freezing temperatures or below, is like on the windshield washer fluid. You want to make sure that you have a lot of them have kind of like an antifreeze property to them.
Ah.
So you want to check the concentrate bottle and see where the temperature is and what type of concentrate you need to have, because you might want to add like pure concentrate to what you currently have.
Okay, because I was going to ask you that. What if you have something in there already and it's not the right mix? Is there a way to drain it and
No, not really.
run it?
Not really. It's just, I would say, assuming that it's not super full. I mean, most of your concentrate bottles, I think, are right around like a pint.
Oh, good.
That you can buy at any local auto parts store, and just literally just read the back of it is, and I would try and put in as much of it as you can.
Okay.
So it doesn't quote freeze on you. The other thing before you go on a road trip, you'd also want to get a brake check done.
Okay.
And you want to you want to get the brake pads checked. If you're at 3 millimeters or less, you definitely need to get the brake pads replaced.
Okay. And my experience is that can be kind of costly.
Yes, it can be, because on a lot of cars we have what are called minimum specifications on the actual rotor.
Okay.
And what car manufacturers have done over the last few years is they've really thinned out the rotors for weight and cost purposes to keep the cost of the vehicle down and also help with fuel economy of the car.
Okay.
So you want to check to make sure that the rotor, and the shop should be doing this for you, is what is my rotor thickness and is it possibly turned? A lot of times what we find is the rotor can't be physically turned because it literally is... it's part of a normal brake service now. A lot of times to do pads and rotors. Not all the time, but most of the time.
Is that what makes your it's the brake pads that make the squeal, right?
Yeah.
Not the rotors.
Correct. It's the actual brake pad itself. And it's usually the quality of the pad is not generally of higher quality.
Got it. You got the cheap ones.
Yeah.
79-cent version. Got it.
But at the same time, if your brakes are squealing, you do need to get it in and get it checked right away, because you could be like, some brake pads have squealers. And so you need to get it checked right away.
And the squealers are just the indicators like, hey, you're getting, the pad's
Very,
getting
very
low.
close.
Yeah.
So if you do develop a brake noise, you definitely want to get that checked by a mechanic like right away.
Okay.
That's kind of what I'd consider don't pass go, don't collect $200 type scenario. Get it into shop right away. If you still got plenty of brake pad left, okay, like just the other day I had a customer, his pads on his truck were making a lot of noise. And we measured them, and they weren't new, but they were almost like new. He had uber and uber of pad thickness left. So it's not necessarily a safety feature. Is it annoying as all heck get out?
Yeah.
You bet it is.
And is there anything you can do about that kind of thing?
A brake job.
Okay, get new pads. Got it. What about there's like when the belts squeal? What's that about?
Usually it can be an indicator of a worn belt, or there's not a proper tension on the belt itself.
Okay.
Most cars today have auto tensioners, so the auto tensioner needs to be checked as well. And then there's also little feelers we now use for serpentine belts. The general rule of thumb I use at our shop on belts and hoses, how often they should be replaced, is 10 years or 100,000 miles.
Wow.
Okay. For Arizona, why we have the 10-year rule is because of the high heat that we live in.
Okay.
Okay. So rubber products here in Arizona break down a lot faster.
Okay.
For example, tires in Arizona, if you have a 70,000-mile tire warranty, you're never going to more than likely see 70,000 miles on that tire.
Not without being stuck on the side of the road.
Exactly. So that's why you've got to be careful with rubber products here in the state of Arizona, especially in the Phoenix area, or wherever if you live in a high heat. The rubber product can dry out and crack.
What about if you're traveling from, say that I'm going from Arizona to, I don't know, Wisconsin, and that dramatic change in temperature? Is there anything special that needs to be done to make sure the car can accommodate that?
No, nothing at all. Just like I said, go get a courtesy inspection done. You want to make sure the coolant is checked, the actual engine coolant itself, because you definitely want to make sure that the engine can function properly at the right temperature. And you also want to make sure that the coolant has, it has life in it.
You don't want dead coolant. Dead coolant's bad.
Exactly.
No dead coolant. You want me to start fielding your calls as your
Actually,
as
you
your
know what?
receptionist?
Thank you for calling.
I can do that.
Well, ago we had a call come in and phone was vibrating. It's like, if you're calling for Joe right
The
now,
phones
please.
are off. How did
No,
it come in?
It was somebody's cell phone.
Oh, gotcha.
It's like, if you're calling for Joe right now, leave a message. So before we open up the phone lines real quick, Jim, why don't you go ahead and tell us if somebody wants to give you a call, how do they get a hold of you? Where can they come and see you in person?
Our phone number is 480-287-5770.
I just thought that would be cool after your number. Sorry.
One more time.
480-287-5770.
And
We're there Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 5:30.
7:30. Mechanics
In the
tend to
morning?
get there early.
Yeah, I know.
Wait. 7:30 in the you mean at night?
No.
In the morning?
Yeah.
Every day?
Yeah. Well, Monday through Friday. We don't
What
do
time do you have to start getting ready for work?
You better live right around the corner.
Like 5?
No. I usually roll out by 6.
6. I'm usually getting to bed around then.
Oh, Lord.
That's cool, though. I mean, people have to have different shifts or everybody be doing the same thing all the time, right?
Yeah, and the other thing is for people that live in the area, and I know like here we're clear out in Santan Valley, we actually have a shuttle service, and we've actually brought people clear out here.
I've heard some stories too, where like little I affectionately call them, so please don't be offended, little old ladies who need their car service, and where there have been personal deliveries back to their houses, so they're not having to.
That has happened.
Is this your place?
It is.
You're the
He
owner.
is the owner, and
Shh, don't tell anybody.
You bring in all the celebrities, I'm telling you.
I know.
The main man of
Good Works Auto Repair.
Good Works
I
Auto
know.
Repair.
I don't mess around.
I
I
affectionately
go
refer
right
my,
to the head. Well, Amber would be. Sorry, Amber.
Yeah.
Technically.
Where are you located again?
We're on Baseline, right next door to Rockin' Our Ranch. If folks know where Rockin' Our Ranch is.
I just had the owners in.
Okay.
And the fiddler. He was good, too.
I bet so.
Do you go there quite a bit, Rockin' R?
You know what? We've been there about 5.5 years, and I am sad to say that I've never been over there.
Now you got to go.
Why?
Yeah,
You're
we
their
did-
You
neighbor.
just confessed.
They could be taking it personally by now.
You just confessed, so now you have to. And you also have a really great website. So if you want to go,
GoodWorksAutoRepair.com.
you can go check out his website and get some more information about him in case you're not sure.
I'm the fat guy on the website.
Oh my God.
You fix European and American cars?
Generally, depending on what's going on with the European car, we will. Most of the time, we do not. I have a great referral for people who have issues. European cars are generally a different breed, mechanically and how they're engineered.
Okay.
In our part of out in the far East Valley, there's not a whole lot of European cars. We do see some Volkswagens, a few Audis, but there's just not that concentration of like the BMW.
You got to go a little bit further west for that.
Gotcha. I shouldn't have bought a Mercedes. I should have bought a Chevy, huh?
There you go.
Yeah, unfortunately, we just don't see that many Ferraris running around in the Mesa, Gilbert, Queen
I just
Creek
haven't
area.
brought mine in yet.
And my Lamborghini, I just bring that to the dealership.
That's smart. Help
They
retain the value.
shuttle me home, though.
In another Lamborghini.
Right, well, of course.
So we primarily focus on American and Asian cars.
Gotcha. Asian cars.
Yes.
What are those?
There's a few of those still left, believe it or not.
What are Asian cars? Like Fiats?
No, that's a European car.
What's an Asian car?
Toyota, Honda,
Oh, there you go.
Hyundai,
I
Kia.
I'm so hungry. I was thinking, like, is it sweet and sour? Or what the heck kind of car is that? An Asian car. Now I got you, though.
With some
Toyota,
spicy
all that.
noodles.
But Chevy, all that.
Yep.
So
Ford.
we'd be good.
Yeah. Any of your domestic models, Chrysler, Dodge,
I'm looking for a
Jeep.
new mechanic. We may have to talk.
We can do that.
We may have to talk.
So if you have any questions, if you're listening, Joe's gonna. I'm putting Joe on secretary duty. I know
See
he
that?
loves it when I do that. If you
what kind of questions do people want? What do you want people to call in for?
I want to know, like, if they have any questions about my car's doing this and I'm about to take a road trip. Is it safe? What should I do? I mean, those are the kind of things. That's my biggest, I'm all about public safety. I want to make sure that my listeners have an amazing holiday, and I don't want them stranded on the side. That'll ruin a holiday quick if you're, like, stuck. And then
Especially if you're loaded with perishable items
Exactly.
you're gonna
and
eat
no
them.
water.
Or if you got kids. I mean, I have.
Aren't those considered perishable?
If you had like
I don't
6
know.
cases of beer only and no water, imagine how terrible that would be.
Am I by myself or am I with my kids? It depends. Am I by myself or with my kids? If I was by myself, no, that's a rocking good time. If I got my kids, not so much fun. That's okay.
Gotcha. I did find a good new beer lately. Can I throw that out?
Absolutely.
And I don't drink beer, but this one I like. Michelob Ultra Pomegranate and Raspberry.
Oh my God, that doesn't even sound like a beer.
You know what? I'm a little foo-foo beer drinker, okay? I'm not the give me a Budweiser
You heard
straight
it
up.
here. He's a frou-frou beer drinker.
Hey, and I admit that. I'm very in touch with my foo-foo-ness. It's okay. It's all right. It's all good. Everyone knows that.
We were going to tap into the keg in the back while we were listening to Jordy earlier, but...
But you decided that you didn't have the nerve to drink and then do your show.
You never know what may come out of my mouth. I do have to watch.
You're scaring me.
Actually, I'm worried about Jim.
Is drinking and talking on the air, can that be a...
It's actually acceptable.
I didn't know if that was an offense of some sort.
It's, no, it's not. At least I hope.
We won't tell if you don't.
Let me finish my ice water.
All right, so if you're listening, Joe, what's the magic number they need to call in on?
All right, it's 745. I'm sorry, it's not really. It's 480-745-1033. And I'm going to turn the phone lines on, so
we want to hear
I will talk to you.
We want to hear your questions about your vehicle, what you got going on with it.
And it's already ringing.
I know, because we're good like that. And we want to know, like, if you're getting ready on a road trip, where you're going. I want to hear where you're going. That's kind of the cool part for me. And what are some of your car concerns as far as getting your loved ones in your vehicle and make sure that it's nice and safe? And again, Jim's door is open. Well, I would say open all the time, but he does have hours. 7:30, though. That's not bad, though.
No.
I don't think that's bad. So, although, Joe's not up that early, but I'm rocking and rolling by that time.
Exactly.
Hold on, Roadmaster.
Hang on.
I am sometimes up that early. You never know. My hours are very flexible depending on what I have to do. If I have to do something, then no.
But could you
then I don't get up
every day at 7? I'd be at work every day at 7:30.
It just depends where I worked. Do you know what I'm saying? I have my motivations.
I can't say that.
We're not going to talk about these things. I'm going to answer your calls right now. I'm going to get back to Roadmaster.
All right, awesome. All right, so we talked about if we're going into cooler weather, make sure we check the windshield washer fluid.
Check the wiper blades as well.
The wiper blades. Oh, and they have some really good ones these days out that I remember being younger how they would streak real bad. But now they got the kind that really keep the water off well. I can't come up with a good analogy for it, but they're amazing.
Yeah, there are some contour blades that some vehicles need.
I didn't think about that.
Based off the windshield itself. I mean, I personally use a relatively inexpensive set.
And it works well because, how often do we get rain here?
What ends up happening here in Arizona is actually the wiper blade
dries out
before its useful life. Well, its useful life is defined by it drying out.
You may use it once or twice a month, maybe here lately. I don't know.
Well, it's clean your windshield,
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that.
So generally, we don't use our windshield wipers here as frequently as other places do. So at least here, I personally use a really inexpensive set. I don't put on like the $20, $30 each wiper blades because I personally don't see the value for me.
Right. And that's something I have to say to our listeners that are listening. I know that I have taken one of our family cars in, and it's like,
I thought we weren't supposed to talk about that.
I said it's a family car, and and it needed some help. It needed some serious life support.
It needs more than that.
It's a good car.
Yes, it is.
And Jim's always been really great about. I was like, okay, how bad is it? And he was like, well, are you sitting down? And so, but I mean, you've always been really good about working with me and going, okay, here's the must-dos. You must do these things, and these are the things we'd like to do. And now you tell me what to do next. And so that's one of the things for those who are listening. That's what I want to hear. I want to know that I have some power or some control or because I feel like every time I give my car over, that's a big investment, and I feel like I'm being taken advantage of, or I'm out of power.
Here's one thing that I always recommend, and we kind of have. I want to be careful here loosely. Kind of an open shop policy. Mm-hmm. A lot of corporations have kind of a open door policy. we have an open shop policy, and if you're not understanding what we're talking about, or we're having a hard time communicating if I'm having a hard time explaining it to you, one of my favorite phrases that I always like to use is, "Hey, can I borrow you?"
Right.
And what we literally do is have people come down to the shop, and we literally show them what's going on with the car, what needs specifically to be repaired as far as what each individual part is, and how that part specifically functions on the car.
Right.
So that way I can specifically show people, say, hey, here's what's going on. This is kind of what we need to do. This is why we need to do it. And this is how we're going to do it.
So then they're informed, not just feeling like they're being
involved,
force-fed.
right? They're involved in the repair process.
That makes sense.
And so if we can give options in the repair process, we generally try and give people some options.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes there's literally no option. It's just like, hey, this is what's going to have to happen.
I've been in that boat.
All right. We're going to go ahead and take the first three, and I'm turning the phones off in between because it doesn't do any good. People can call, and it'll just blink, and that's okay. Roadmaster from Phoenix says, I'm driving to Chicago from Phoenix in February. Do I need to worry about fluids? Dude, you should always worry about fluids.
Make sure you have lots of fluids in your car
and
in your
back
system.
to the vehicles. Does he need to worry about fluids? Plugging in. I am not used to the freezing cold.
Okay, so he's talking probably about a block heater then.
You got me on that one.
It would be my guess.
Okay.
He potentially might need to, depending on where he's going.
Plugging in.
Yeah.
I assume he's not driving an electric car. He's probably talking about the cold, right?
Yeah, more than likely. The main thing I would say is make sure that the cooling system definitely have that checked out by a mechanic, whoever his mechanic.
The cooling system?
Yeah, the actual coolant, the engine coolant, the antifreeze.
To make sure he's not equipped for Phoenix, and then he gets there and it's too thin or
yeah,
something?
because what you can actually test the coolant. There's test strips that we can use to test to see how effective the coolant is and how much life is left, because each coolant has an effective life period. And so we can actually test the coolant and see how much effective life is actually there and what the protection level goes to. So we can test to see what temperature that's effective to. As a general thumb, I don't think he really needs to be worried about using a block heater going to Chicago in February. I used to travel a lot up there when I worked for a telecommunications company based out of there.
Who will remain anonymous.
So, and like when I did rental cars and stuff, I never worried about, quote, plugging them in. Usually when you get into like North Dakota.
Or driving to like the Arctic.
Yes.
Then you got to worry about it.
Yeah, but generally in Chicago, in the Chicagoland area, I don't think he needs to really worry about, quote, plugging in the car.
Just keep it running.
Okay,
don't ever turn it off.
Yeah, don't ever. Yeah, he'll be fine. Just the main concern I would have for him is make sure, number one, make sure the tires are the topper, have the proper tread depth, because they can get a lot of snow in the Chicagoland area that time of year. And also make sure that the coolant, the engine coolant antifreeze, is of proper strength and it's still in good condition.
All right. Good question there, Roadmaster from Phoenix. And we have Bert from Mesa would like to know, are you a AAA certified mechanic shop?
No, we are not. And the reason for that is AAA has entered the auto repair business very aggressively.
Oh, are they literally talking about AAA, like the one that tows you?
Uh-huh.
So they've become now a competitor.
Exactly.
That's not right, huh?
So we've decided not to participate in that program.
Gotcha.
However, we are a NARPro repair shop. What NARPro does do is they basically look for about the top 2 or 3% shops that are in the Phoenix marketplace. And so we are one of the NARPro recommended repair shops. We're also a RepairPal top shop as well. RepairPal.com is a large auto repair site that you can get cost estimates for doing repairs.
I can tell just by talking to you that you've got your act together.
He knows
I'm
his
serious
stuff.
about that.
He does know this stuff, that's for sure.
Right on. Jane from Tampa, Florida says, gonna drive our RV that we purchased. It's a 2000 to Northern California for Christmas.
Wow, that's a trip.
We were told, is that a long trip? We were told that, I don't know, I've never driven that one.
From Florida to California?
I don't know, never driven that one.
Oh, that's a haul.
I'm taking your word for that. Sounds pretty far. They haven't really had anything done to it. The previous owner said they had a lot of maintenance done, but they want to know, what should they do? What should they have checked to be sure they're going to be safe?
They need to go to their actual repair shops that specialize in doing RV repairs.
Well, that was going to be my question. You don't take your RV to the same place that you take your...
Some shops will do them. I mean, I know there's one or two here in the Valley. Maybe I'm sure there's more than that. One or two that I personally know of that will do
both.
We will do some RV work. It's generally the ones that have been converted.
Okay.
That are they're basically on a Ford platform or a Chevy platform. We can do like the mechanical type work. In other words, we don't get in and try and fix the refrigerator or
Oh, okay. I was
the porta potty, the shower,
microwaves,
okay.
cooktops.
But if they got problems with like the engine or the brakes, we have the ability to handle that. An oil change, we can handle that as well.
Or if you need a new Serta Posturepedic,
But
you can probably throw one in, right?
But they
need to do the exact same thing as you would
Right.
with any vehicle.
Right,
They
that's
need
what
to get it. They need to get it in there. Have the tires checked, especially like on vehicles
tires, gosh, especially on something that big.
especially on cars that we see that mostly. Well, here in Arizona, you can get what's called weather checking, and the tire itself will develop small little cracks right where the tread actually merges with the sidewall. Those you can really see them really common there, and they can go into the tread itself and even go down the sidewall. And so when on vehicles that sit a lot, those are the tendency where they can develop weather checking. So what I would encourage you to do is take it into the local, in Tampa, I'm sure there's boatloads of RV shops. Get it in there. Most RV shops I do know charge an inspection fee for that. And she basically needs to get in there and have them do a mechanical inspection on the vehicle to make sure that the vehicle's safe to drive.
Have them go over the whole thing and make sure that. And then is there something that they should bring with them in case the mechanics don't spot it? I may have missed the first segment where you were talking about that. But I'm talking about belts or plugs or, anything that can be user taken care of relatively easy.
No, just let them do their job. Let them, these are folks that we literally see hundreds of cars per month. And then we can also, like what we do is we look at what is the factory recommendation for maintenance. And so we'll inquire about that. The main thing you want to bring is, if you're new to a shop, bring your repair history with you. That is the biggest thing that can help me, because I don't want to do something that you've already had done. For example, we just had an Avalon that was just yesterday, for example, it had about 240,000 miles on it, and the valve covers were leaking. Well, there's a lot we have to remove to get to the back valve cover. The intake has to come off. And so I asked him, I said, that's a phenomenal time to remove the spark plugs. So I said, hey, have your plugs been changed? Because there's a whole bunch of overlapping labor, and I was looking to save him money.
Right. Good idea.
And so he told me, yes, the spark plugs had been done. They'd been done about 20,000 miles ago, so they didn't need to be done, so we didn't do them.
Good for him. He's good. He's a good organizer, whoever that customer was.
Yes.
This is why we do this show, because there are... Organizing, I said it at the beginning of the show, organizing is more than keeping your desk filing cabinet and where you can find your paperwork. It also applies to your vehicle and your vehicle maintenance logs. How many times did you get an oil change and you shove it in your glove box? Okay, you know what? If that's your filing system, I'm not saying that doesn't work, but be consistent so that when you do go in the mechanic shop, here's all my maintenance records right here in my glove box.
I'm going to take some more calls for you guys.
So, perfect. You do that. So, it's all about and how that pays off, because if he would have gone to you and go, you know what, I think I did, but I can't remember, then he would have spent money that he didn't need to.
Right, and that's the other thing is that I'm really big into as far as like going to the same mechanic consistently, is because most shops today are on computer systems and they retain electronic records.
How long do you maintain those records?
For us, it's pretty much indefinite.
Awesome.
So that way, especially on a lot of our fleet customers, I work with them. Say, I get a question to say, hey, have we done this have we performed a tune-up on this particular vehicle? And then I can go back and check history and say, yes, we have, or no, we haven't. If we hadn't, I look at the mileage, compare it to the manufacturer's recommendation of when that should be done, and say, yeah, we need to do it now, or no, we don't need to do it now. We need to do it at a certain date in the future.
Right. And I know as far as when you go in and buy a used vehicle, I bought a used vehicle before, and I went after the people that I've only taken it to this mechanic every time. And then I could go and interview that mechanic going, I'm about to buy this car. Is it a lemon, or am I getting
how are they taking care of the car?
Yeah.
And have them literally give you copies of all the invoices. For us, it's real simple. We can print them all out for you and show you the history.
Right.
For example, on cars that have timing belts, if you're buying a car up around that 90 to 120,000 mile point, if the car has a timing belt, you want to make sure that that timing belt has been replaced because that can be a major expense.
Yep, my son's going through that right now.
And then they're like on Kias and Hyundais, some of the older Kias and Hyundais, they have a 60,000 mile interval.
Wow.
They use a less expensive belt than Toyota or Honda used. We have a car in our shop right now where she literally bent two of the intake valves on all four of the cylinders.
Wow.
Because the timing belt didn't get changed and it was at 99,000.
And does the timing belt, like my son was telling me he has a hand-me-down truck from his father, and the timing belt went out, and it's an expensive replacement. I mean, it's not.
Yeah, it can be.
It's not like you go to Walmart, buy it, slap that puppy on there.
No.
That's my kind of repairs. But is it like a truly like a belt, like it snaps, or do they own timing chains? And
there's timing chains and there's timing belts. Is this when I should grab the timing belt?
Absolutely,
display?
let's do that. Perfect. And we may have to get Joe to update the camera. We got visual aids, Joe. Here we go. This is how good he is. Not only does he come and he explains all this to me, he brings me visual display so that I can actually see what it is. That's perfect.
Good.
So this is this is a timing belt here. It's an actual rubber belt and it's got teeth or cogs on it.
Yep.
So
That's thicker than I thought it would be.
yeah, a lot of them have a Kevlar integrated into the actual belt itself. And so one of the things, like when you do a timing belt, there's a lot of water pumps that are that are timing belt driven. So you want to get those replaced, serviced when the timing belt is done too. And the reason for that is, again, you're right there. Go ahead and do it.
Right, and save you the cost.
Save
the labor cost.
labor.
You're still going to pay the
labor.
parts.
Exactly.
Right.
So if you don't do it and the water pump goes out, and if the coolant truly saturates the belt, guess what? You get to buy the timing belt all over again.
Nice. So you get a twofer.
Exactly. And I love you.
I don't want to be on that list.
And also there's some pulleys up that you can see over here.
I see that it's tensioner pulley and
Idler pulley. Can you point that out?
this one over here is the idler
Yep.
pulley.
Okay, you want to make sure
And this
those
is
get changed as well.
the tensioner pulley.
And this particular display actually has a hydraulic tensioner, and you want to make sure that gets changed as well.
Ooh, I'm playing with it. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm very visual. Sorry.
So, anyways,
Poor Joe. He's not having any fun.
you also want to make sure when you get a timing belt done that those are replaced at the same time as well.
The hydraulic tensioners.
And the pulley.
And the
Pulleys.
pulleys. Okay.
Yeah.
And what are these things down here? What are this one and these little coggy things?
Okay, the very bottom one
This
is
one.
is the crankshaft.
That sounds serious.
Yeah, that's where the pistons and the rods are actually hooked up to.
Oh, okay.
There's actually a seal back in there, and you can't see it on the webcam, but there's actually a little blue line back in there.
Oh, I see it. I see it.
That actually represents the front crankshaft seal. That
Okay.
should be replaced at the same time as well.
Okay.
Because if you develop an oil leak there, again, if the oil saturates the belt, we get the 2-for-1 experience again. And I love you.
No.
And
Just
then there's
say no.
The very big one at the top is actually the
This one.
camshaft.
Okay.
Again, you can't see it on the webcam, but there's a little blue line back in
See it.
there.
I see it back there. Yep.
Okay, that's the camshaft seal. Again, you want to make sure those get replaced as well.
Okay, so when you're having this done, you're talking not just go to Walmart, buy a new belt, slap it on there. We're talking replacing the seal, the camshaft seal,
Crankshaft seal.
crankshaft seal. Wow, I feel like I'm being quizzed for medical school.
Hydraulic tensioner.
the hydraulic tensioner, and the tensioner pulley,
And the idler pulley.
and the idler pulley. What about this one over here? The funny
Water pump.
Oh, I don't like to have to change those.
No.
Those are not fun.
So to do all this can be, it depends on each vehicle is a little bit different, but you're here in the Phoenix marketplace, you're probably in that $600 to $900 range to do all that.
Wow. So, but is this okay? So I have a vehicle that's under it's under warranty from when I bought it, and I bought the extra.
Yeah, this is maintenance. So
This isn't covered.
no, now you can buy maintenance plans.
Right, I did that.
I don't know. You
I
need
think
to
I
read
did.
your contract, and your particular car, I believe, has a timing chain specifically. So
It's like a bike, your car. It has a chain.
Well, my squirrel gets really tired after a while. I had to get a
doesn't.
new guinea pig just to fix it.
we got 5-6 questions that I want to rock through real quick, and we're running out of time, so let's get right to them.
Let's do that. I'm sitting here playing with this thing. Go for it.
Lena from Chandler. I have a 1976 Corvette. It needs some major work. Do you fix vets?
yes, we do. The issue that you get in with older cars, when I say older cars, basically cars that are more than 20 years old, the repair cycle from those is generally not same day. We have my general
You're
perspective.
normally same day?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, he's good.
So
I'm used to say month with my mechanic, and sometimes that's get
Because
pulling.
he's driving it around.
You know what? You're right.
I know.
it's because of that Mercedes.
I don't really have a Mercedes.
Okay.
That I can disclose on. No, go ahead.
Anyways,
I'm only kidding.
but with an older car like that, we have no issues working on those. But it's generally we try and keep the car as original as possible,
Gotcha.
and so part availability becomes a huge issue with that. So it's going to depend on how readily available parts are.
Makes
and that's,
sense.
Yeah.
Pete D and Lori from Tempe. I have always taken my Honda to the same Honda shop. Had a recent falling out due to dishonesty. Do you fix Hondas? Need someone new? You sound really good and you sound honest.
Yes, we do. We love Hondas. Hondas are phenomenal
We
cars.
love Hondas.
Yes.
I'm a Ford person.
I love Hondas.
But you know what? To comment on her
That's good.
question about honesty, Jim is by far the most honest mechanic, and he'll tell you straight up, like, you don't have to worry about going back and, getting a second and third referral. Go back and go, well, I took it to this mechanic, he said this much, and I took it to that mechanic. No, what you're going to get with Jim is you're going to get the honest answer. You're going to get the best parts possible so that you're not having to keep coming back. I mean, I can tell you hands down, that's the kind of service you're going to get every time. And Barry, who answers the phone, is a dream to talk to. He's super sweet. So if you ever call up there and talk to Barry, he's amazing. And his wife is the bomb in my book.
Jessica is, just so everybody knows, Jessica has become a customer of ours.
By
Nice.
default.
So, I mean, we do work on her personal vehicles. So,
Yeah.
Nice. Well, there you go. That's a
Yep,
great
it's a
referral.
personal endorsement right there.
C Money from AJ says, I have a cracked head on my Ford truck. What's
painful.
the turnaround time like? Just an idea. And what's your warranty like?
Oh, good question.
awesome question. On a cracked head, you're probably looking a week. And we do offer a 24-month, 24,000-mile warranty on almost every single repair we do.
That's huge.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that from a shop.
Yeah, most of your dealerships are going to be 12 months, 12,000 miles. A lot of your independents can be at the low end. There is a
It's called when you drive past their driveway and everything falls apart.
Pretty much do
That's
that.
the warranty.
Yeah, and there are some chains here, for example, in the Phoenix area that have like a 30-day labor warranty, for example.
You're 24 months and
24,000 miles.
it's unbelievable.
What good is a labor warranty, really? Because it's not really the labor that breaks down on the car. I've never once
Yeah,
had
but you know what? But if you don't have to buy the part, you still have to pay the labor. That gets very expensive.
Because there's some
Yeah.
shops that do like a 90-day labor warranty and like a 1 year.
They'll
'cause
be,
most-
that part went out. We're gonna get it covered for you, but the labor's $480.
Yeah. Okay, I got it. All right.
exactly.
But it's only been 15 days. Well, I'm sorry.
And because affectionately, I kind of own the repair for 24 months, Joe, or 24,000 miles. It behooves you to make sure that the repair gets done correctly.
Yeah.
I like this guy
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk after the show for 5 minutes. I won't keep you too long.
He's going to have you underneath his truck here before you know it.
Anna from Mesa. Our transmission went out in our Yukon. Do you do transmissions?
Yes, we do. And we
And
offer,
that's another rarity.
it's again 24 months, 24,000 miles.
There you go.
We should have some kind of special whistles and stuff going off and all that. Maybe I can
Whee!
just maybe I
That's
can just do it.
Average,
I'll do a double boing. How's that?
Wow,
A
that
little
got
longer than I thought, but
just so people know, like on transmission repair, again, that's not usually a same-day service. That's
Oh,
generally
gosh.
basically about a 3 to 4 day service.
This time of
Gotcha.
the year, especially because we're talking about getting people ready to go on road trips, if they're coming to see you, do they need to call ahead and schedule, or are we going to be backed up because you have so many vehicles busting down your doors?
No, do call and make an appointment. As
Okay.
a general rule of thumb, we will try and get you in the same day.
Okay.
Okay. Like for our oil changes typically take about 45 minutes, and we do generally do those by appointments because I'm not wanting to be like we're not a quick lube facility.
Okay.
Okay, where you can just drive up and show up.
Gotcha.
My goal is to get you basically, I want to give you a good service, but I don't want you hanging out at my place for an hour or two.
Right.
I mean,
And nobody wants to anyway.
No.
and there's part of Walmart's strategy, truthfully, is they want you to wait, so you'll go shop, spend a couple $100 while you're shopping.
Every time.
While you're getting your oil change done.
Every time. It used to be my philosophy. I love to go to Walmart so I can get my oil change, buy some socks, and pick up some dinner all at the same time. But then I kept running into. I had a horror story when I was living in upstate New York. They put the wrong antifreeze in my radiator and turned my radiator to sludge. It was bad.
Yes.
Bad.
I do want to jump on this real quick because I know we got a bunch of questions we need to get to. One of the things that I'm very passionate about is using the right weight of oil in your car. We see a lot of cars that when you go for the El Cheapo oil change, what they're using is they're using 10W30. Okay? And if you have like a Ford or a Chrysler or even a Honda, generally they're going to have a 5W20 weight oil. You're like, well, what does that mean? Well, what they're recommending is when it's at operating temperature, they will basically, their multi-viscosity oil, they want that at a 5 weight. And that can actually impede your fuel economy.
And your warranty,
Yes,
which
it
most
will.
people don't know.
Yes, it will.
I know somebody that happened to. They bought a brand new car, went down to Jiffy Lube or one of those. They used the wrong oil, had a major engine problem, and they did not get it taken care of. And this
It'll
was a
void.
brand new car.
It'll
Wow.
void your factory warranty. As a matter of fact, like on transmission fluids, which the things that I'm most passionate about are the correct weight of oil, the correct antifreeze/coolant that goes in the
That'll
car,
mess you up.
and then also the correct transmission fluid. Because there's no more universal transmission fluid.
Right.
Most of them are either full synthetic or semi-synthetic fluids. So when you go in for like a $99 transmission service, you really need to be careful what you're getting into because there's some cars like Nissan Altimas, for example, that are a constant velocity transmission that take a special fluid. Well, that fluid is like $15 a quarter.
And that's like the lifeblood of that
Transmission. Yes, it is. If you use the wrong fluid, it will ruin the transmission.
And bye-bye car.
Yes.
Lance from Queen Creek says, does your shop do AC? And he needs a heater core as well. He had a bid, an estimate from a shop in Queen Creek here of over $3,700.
Ouch.
That sounds ridiculous. He says, I want to go to your shop. Do you give free estimates?
Yes, we do. Bring it in. Let me have a take a look at it. I can tell you right now, heater cores can be very expensive to do because a lot of times
$3,700?
Well, it sounds like he's got a lot
There
more.
may be other parts, other stuff in there.
But the actual heater core component, Joe, for example, a lot of times like the whole dash has to come out of the vehicle. See, just that.
That's
alone,
what happened in my Silverado.
Yeah,
When I had my heater core, they took out my whole dash and pretty much did a horrible job.
but it's,
Makes me want to cry right now.
but you can be looking at $900 to $1,000 plus in labor to get
just labor.
just labor to get to the heater core.
And the heater core's like $7, right?
Pretty much.
That's like one of my vehicles. One of my vehicles, the battery, when we had battery issues, and so I lift up the hood and think, okay, I'm just gonna jump it off. The battery, where's the battery? It's in the tire well. You have to take the tire off to get to the battery, and I was like absolutely infuriated. I couldn't replace the battery. Like, how hard should it be?
Look on the bright side. At least you'd have to take the motor out to replace the battery, huh?
You know what? I was about to get underneath there with my hammer and my screwdriver and make something happen. It was pretty.
So what other
intense.
questions you got there?
That we just burned through 6 or 7 questions that quick.
And we are absolutely out of time.
We're actually
I didn't-
overtime.
I know. I'm sorry. I didn't realize I was.
I'll send you the bill.
You do that. But before we wrap up, first of all, Jim, thank you so
Definitely
much.
contact info for sure.
So much for being out here, and everybody.
Can I ask a dumb question?
Absolutely.
What
Very easy to answer, right?
What time is it really?
It's 7:20.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I told you it would go by fast.
You're right. It did go by fast. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. So if you're getting ready to go on a road trip and you're in the Mesa Valley area, absolutely go look up Jim. Jim, how do they find you?
We're basically on baseline between Power and Wrecker.
Okay.
Give us a phone call at 480-287-5770. We'll do a complimentary vehicle inspection for you. It takes approximately 30 minutes to do. We'll look at the brakes, the tires, and all that. We also do oil changes with a free tire rotation brake check for $24.95 for most vehicles.
That is fantastic.
I want to emphasize most vehicles.
With the right oil.
Exactly.
Most vehicles.
Hey, tire rotation. How often do you do that?
General thumb is about between 5,000 to 7,500 miles.
Is it really?
Yes.
That's
no
pretty
wonder
much
my
every oil change in my car.
No wonder my tires have no tread on the inside. And
Do
no,
the
I'm only
penny.
kidding.
Do the penny check. I now know how to do the penny check. I'm very excited about that.
Part of what we do, like when you come in for us, we actually measure the tread depth with an indicating tool, and so part of what we do is we'll actually tell you where your tread depth is and give you an indicator.
A couple of quick questions here, just for the general public. Do you do alignments?
We do.
You sell batteries and tires?
Don't sell tires, but Barry, who actually works for me, has over 20 plus years in the tire industry. So what we will do is we'll make a recommendation for you based on what your budget is and what's going to be best for your vehicle.
Do you fix things like boats?
No.
ATVs?
Do not.
You stick to vehicles, cars?
I stick to cars and light trucks.
Cars and light trucks, and mostly American and Asian.
And Asian, your Toyota, Honda, Subaru, Mitsubishi.
But don't be afraid to bring him something to see if he'll do it.
Give me a call first.
Right.
Call me first. Like if you have a European car, depending on what the problem is, there's a guy that I know that's kind of in the North Tempe area / South Scottsdale. Jurgen is actually an immigrant from Germany.
Oh, wow.
I've sent quite a few people over to him, and the response that I've gotten back, people told me, hey, Jurgen and Steve are just like you.
Oh, well, that's cool.
So I feel very comfortable in referring people over to them. And Jurgen was actually trained by Volkswagen Audi. He was actually I think he actually might have worked for them over in Germany. So he has a very good grasp
He's
of
got
the
the
German
hookup.
cars. Yes,
And I'll bet he likes beer. That was a side note, by the way.
Maybe when you bring your Mercedes over there, bring him over some of that frou-frou beer that
Yeah,
you
yeah.
drink.
Pomegranate raspberry.
See how well that goes over.
What's your phone number, by the way?
480-287-5770.
And when you call in, you're going to speak to Barry. Make sure you tell Barry that you heard about Jim and Good Works Auto Repair from the O Factor. He's a super great guy. When I first went out to Jim's place, I got lost and called him 3 times, and he never lost patience with me. Thank you very much, Barry, for that if you're listening. And I just want to thank you again and thank Amber for allowing you to be out on a late night like this.
And your name
so we
was
can
Jim?
him.
I'm Jim,
Jim.
a.k.a.
Jim.
the fat guy.
I don't know why that makes me laugh every time.
Yeah, I don't know. You're killing me, Jim.
If you look at me from behind, I don't look so fat.
Jim, come on, cut it out, man.
But you're tall. How tall are you?
I'm about 6'3".
Yeah.
That's huge.
He's tall.
Yeah, big time.
All right. So
I'm 5'3".
I'm 5'4".
Something like that.
All right, everyone, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Jim, thank you again for coming out and joining us on the O Factor. Again, this is the last show of 2012, so thank you so much for going out with a bang with us.
Thank you. Hopefully I can come back someday.
Absolutely.
Oh, for sure. Thank you, Jim.
You know what? We should do it when it starts getting hot. And then we
can do that.
It gets hot in here often. But anyway, we're talking about the weather, not our show. So be sure to tune in. I'm sure we're going to have some great replays on the Christmas holiday. And then we have New Year's the following Tuesday. So make sure you come back and catch us live again the first Tuesday in January. We'll have another fabulous show planned for you. We look forward to talking to you then. Again, this is Jessica with the O Factor.
Hi, Marie here for wannasing.com. Are you looking for professional DJ or karaoke services for your next holiday party or get-together? wannasing.com can provide the best in sound, lighting, and a professional MC to host your next event. Whether it be a company party, birthday party, wedding, or any occasion, wannasing.com is ready to provide the fun and make it a night to remember for years to come. Call 480-664-8801. That's 480-664-8801. Mention this radio ad and receive a special discount for your next fun event. wannasing.com.